Today we have Michael Wolff, former friend turned journalist, who seems to make his career highlighting Trump's life on the hot seat. What's interesting here is not only is half of what this man shares complete utter nonsense, but it does not actually capture the spirit of what America needs to uphold. Instead of relevant information and facts, he speaks on the wealth, sexuality, drugs, and friendship-based drama, as if Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein's life is some Netflix series. Michael Wolff goes as far as to suggest a juicy tell-all about Trump and his sexual explorations with his friends' wives, and how Melania Trump was introduced to Trump through some connection she had with Jeffrey Epstein. Well, in highlight of the Epstein files still being pushed below the radar. Instead, we get the Epstein and Trump autobiography tell-all, which is a complete misdirect and not what the people actually want. Let's listen to what his book actually does and what's in it for him.
And he said, and I said, okay, what are your issues? Tell me, because I do not, and I continue not to think the book is not a negative portrayal. And he said, and he stammered. I mean, he stammers about everything, but in this case, he really stammered and couldn't get it. And he said, it's just so personal. And I said, well, Rupert, it's a biography. And I realized that his idea of a biography isn't quite an old-fashioned, everything about him is quite old-fashioned, but he also had an old-fashioned idea of this. A biography was a chronological tale of one's accomplishments and perhaps challenges, but the emphasis on the accomplishments of the great man. Now, I actually think that that's part of what my book does, but it explains those accomplishments in a personal light. Who is this man? What's his motivations? Where is he? Who is he who is he? So the reader, my job is for the reader for me to bring the reader as close as possible to the experience of being with this person, the experience that I have had.
Yeah, no thank you. I don't want the experience of being with Epstein, with Trump, or any of your friends. More importantly, I don't think this lawsuit is anything other than a Trojan horse. Obviously, if we can get a juicy tell-all of Trump's life and his wife's while highlighting Epstein and make this the Epstein files, we're all saved by William Hoff's tell-all. Well, let's see what it's like being around Epstein, Mr. Hoff.
So then what happened is the girl who approached me and scouted me for him, or recruited me. This girl phoned me after that, and she said that, Epstein really liked me and wanted to see my modeling portfolio. He thought I would be great for Victoria's Secret. So the next day I was invited to a modeling casting at the hotel where they were staying, in the Cape Grace Hotel. So, but what Naja said is that they're actually doing a speech at the Western Cape Peninsula University, and would I like to come and watch the speech first before the casting? So of course I said, of course, I wanted to go.
A former president of the United States who's with, high-level celebrities, and why would you not believe it if a guy says that he's representing, Leslie Wexner of Limited Brands and the owner of Victoria's Secret? I mean, it would seem to me that you'd be all in your rights to say this is a legitimate deal.
And he was with Bill Clinton, it just seemed so legitimate. It seemed like the most legitimate opportunity of my whole life.
Well,
they tried to destroy me.
And what year would have this been, Juliet? Take your time.
It was in 2002.
2002.
I met them September 26, 2002.
When you came to the United States, where did you go? Did you go to New York?
Well, yeah. What happened is there was a man waiting for me with a name on a board. He was like standing there with my name on a board, and it seemed like so legitimate, this name on the board. I just thought like, oh my God, I'm going to be like a celebrity. It was just like, what the hell is going on? I was so excited. And then the driver was driving me, and I kept looking at all the billboards in New York, and I was like thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be able to solve all my family's problems. And anyway, then they dropped me off at 301 East 66th Street, the modeling apartment. And I was in there for about 5 minutes, and then the phone rang, and it was Sarah Kellen, and she said, pack your things, we're going to the Caribbean. I obviously assumed it was for a modeling shoot or something, She said, pack a small bag. So I had to leave my big bag there and then bring a few small things to go to this island. And I didn't have my phone with me. I didn't have any money because I asked them before. Like I told them I don't have any money, and they said, "No, don't worry, we will deduct the money from your modeling jobs." They said I don't need money. So I was basically just completely trapped and stuck. And then what happened is the driver came back and he drove me to Teterboro Airport. And then Epstein was sitting on the front of the plane and he like patted the chair like this next to him. And then I went and sat there. And then as soon as the airplane took off, he started touching me in between my legs forcibly. And then I realized these people are going to try to kill me. I immediately knew that if I didn't do what they want, they're going to kill me.
Wow, so posing as a legitimate representative for a world-renowned company in front of other party members, like Bill Clinton, and nobody says anything? These are the real Epstein files. This is the actual experience, sitting with this guy William Hoff. But wait, you know that because he went to you directly to write this autobiography for him. And it was you who were let into the White House, who walked away unscathed with a tell-all. Roll the clip on William Hoff's and Epstein's connection.
And a lot about a lot of these people and these subjects. How do I get into these rooms?
Wait, you can't answer how you were invited to all of these rooms, but yet you can release your tell-all while not sharing all about your relationship with the people you're writing about?
Fundamental duplicity about me. And I say that without the intention to be duplicitous. But I just kind of stand there. I don't really express myself. I'm to a certain degree neutral or amenable or a good listener, I suppose.
He changes duplicity, which is deceit, into good listening and being neutral, while happening to just be there. Ah, okay. Makes a lot of sense. William, you're just there and a shoulder to listen to. Well, let's see what your friends are doing while this is happening.
The island was beautiful. There were some other beautiful young girls there. We all got together and we went to this really long table and started eating and hanging out, and that's when I met Jeffrey Epstein. When he said, "Oh, you lived in England for a while. Do you want to meet a prince?" There was a man that walked up at that moment, so he introduced me to him. It was very well known that Jeffrey knew princes.
Well, which one did you just meet?
I met a prince that was from England.
Andrew?
So after dinner, we went back to our quarters and got ready for bed. And so everything was great. And so that's when there was a knock at the door. But you can also see with the other girls that something's not quite right, and they don't really want me to go because they probably know what's going to happen to me, but they can't protect me. But you can tell that he loved that. He loved that control.
And here you have it, William Hoff, your great depiction of Jeffrey Epstein and him taking unsuspecting teenage girls and selling them off to rich elite under the guise of a modeling agency, while really running a high-level elite sex trafficking Ponzi that raped and trafficked supermodels. This is only the beginning of the Epstein files, and we haven't even gotten them. Instead, we received a lawsuit from Melania Trump to William Hoff regarding his hurtful words about the Trumps' relationship to Epstein and your million-dollar tell-all. Until next time, like and subscribe for more mystery-based media where fact, fiction, and possibility meet at a razor's edge. Talk soon. Next report.